Shalom, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, we got part of glory and most high Yahweh. About Shem, my shalom, my cow shots for us. I reckon making a video through the spirit and power and glory to most high Yahweh. About Shem, my shalom, my cow shot. And as you can see, the title, the video, and we're doing something different, today. We're doing a reaction based on a no jumper episode that I saw dealing with the mighty brother really Hebrew, right? And the brother is on no jumper. And this truth, man, is getting a worldwide. It's getting to platforms that people may never thought this was going to come to, right? So, give a shout out to the mighty brother, for coming over here spreading this truth on this platform, and did a mighty job as well, but I want to do a reaction on the video, just because to see the state of our people and how they try to combat what we say, but never state the facts, right? So we're gonna go through this video through the spirit. Hopefully, Lord willing, it's edifying through the spirit and power, glory, most high Yahweh, Bashem, Mashem, won't make up shine. And let's get to it. All right. All right.
No jump.
But by the way, we're gonna just try to get through this video through the spirit and power, most high Yahweh, Bashem, Mashem, won't make up shine as well. We try to do not too much pausing, but ultimately get down to the nitty gritty of what we see, what we got from this thing. So let's get to it.
For coolest podcast.
I think he most likely looks like how the
Dark.
Cool.
All right. So when you say, like there are some aspects of a,
and you have to just try around a central figure, and you.
Sure.
All religions are cults.
Okay.
They're all focused on a central figure. So if Jesus Christ is your Lord and Savior, and you get up every Sunday to go shake your ass in the church for him, you're in a cult, because there's a central figure, and that figure is emphasized as the end all be all of all knowledge and understanding.
Okay. And what's your definition of a cult?
Exactly what I said.
What?
Anything that basically revolves around a central figure,
that
is the end all be all of all knowledge and understanding.
Yeah.
Nobody knows more than Jesus. Nobody does it better than Jesus.
Yeah.
Jesus is the way, the truth, and the light. Like that is the there's no equivalent to that.
Yeah.
Everything starts and ends with that figure.
And like,
I get what the brother is saying as far as, cultists are, but in the reality, that word cult, I think the brother brother Gorilla Hebrew, we're going to touch on that word. People use it as a negative connotation, right? So when you hear the word cult, you're like, oh, you go into the wilderness, and that's what people think. They think of that negative aspect of a cult. But what the brother is missing is, of course, the Most High Yahweh is all knowing. Yes, he's the one. He does everything. Without him, how can we say it would even exist? He's the one that created the heavens, the third heaven, the second heaven, first heaven that we live on, or not gonna say first heaven, but the earth that we live on. He created all these things. So who are a mortal man to say or come and say that, oh, he got the all wisdom? Yes, he got awesome. He created wisdom. Right? Let me get this piece up. Let me get this piece up real quick. Because, I'm gonna put it on the screen. All right, let's see. Let's share this screen real quick. Share this screen. All right. Sorry, right? Chapter 18, right? We're going to start at the top. It says, He that liveth forever hath created all things in general. The Lord only is righteous, but there is none other but He. So the brother, brother could say what they want to, what you want to say in this thing, right? But hey, the Lord, the Most High Yahweh, He's been here since beginning of time. Who knows, right? And there's no other person, right? So He is the one that has all this knowledge. He has all this understanding. He the one that created all this understanding, right? It says, "Who governed the world with the palm of His hand, and all things obey His will. For He is the King of all, by His power dividing holy things among them from profane." Hey, so the Lord, hey, He does all those things. You can't say, hey, just because you don't believe, or you can say what you want to say, but just because you don't believe or you don't believe in the Most High Yahweh, hey, the Most High Yahweh is the one that created all things. Everybody in the world have somebody that they believe in, even if you don't believe in the Bible, or if you don't believe in, what we believe in as Hebrew Israelites, but you still know that the creator of the source of the power, or you could say higher power, created all things. We all know that, but we know as the Most High Yahweh, He the one that created all things in general, right? So the brother could say what you want to say, but the Most High Yahweh created all things in general. He the one that has everlasting and all wisdom that no man can understand, right? Let me get this out. You said actually. All right. Let me get this out. Right. 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 This is Second Ezra, chapter 4. And let me put this on the screen so you can see it. It's not just making up things, right? Just saying things and making it up, right? Second Ezra, chapter 4, verse. Get to it. All right. This is Second Ezra, chapter 4, verse 10. It says, He said, moreover unto me, thine own things, and such as are grown up with thee, canst thou not know? How should thy vessel then be able to comprehend the way of the highest, and the world being now outward corrupted to understand the corruption that is evident in my sight? Yeah, Ezra's, and yes, how can a mortal the vessel understand what the Most High got in store? Nobody, right? Nobody understand the ways of the Lord. Nobody don't have that understanding. How can a mortal man say, hey, what is wisdom and what is not wisdom? No mortal man can understand it, man. Right? And that's what people fail to realize. Whatever the Most High deem is correct in His eyes, it's correct. Who are we as mortal vessels of the Lord as just dust and ashes say what is right and what is wrong? Right? Let me read that again. It says, verse 11, it says, How should thy vessel then be able to comprehend the way of the highest? And we can't. We can't understand the way of the highest, man. It's impossible, right? It's impossible to understand the way of the highest. Hey, the highest is the highest, right? So, hey, the brother don't have no understanding on that. Hey, the Most High is the Most High. Who are we? Come on, let's get back to it. All right.
Does that stop at Jesus, or do you feel like God, right? can God be like the central figure without it being a cult?
Well, these people think that Jesus is God. A lot of people think that.
Okay.
So I think any religion is like.
Yeah, but we don't think Jesus is God. As Hebrew Israelites, we don't believe Jesus is the Most High God. Right? It goes a Father, Son. That's what it is. That's how we believe. That's what we believe as Israelites. Right? We believe that wholeheartedly. Right? It's the Most High Yahweh, and then the Son. Right? We can get that. We'll get one precept on that. We'll keep pushing. Like I said, I don't want to stop. And, just a classic precept. Okay. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 11 in verse. Let's get to the point. Verse 3. It says, "But I will have you know that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of woman is the man, and the head of Christ is God." So that's the order. We believe it's the Most High, the Father, the Son, right? So we don't believe that. That's Christianity, right? That's why the brother shook his head. Yeah, that's right. Right.
That like Buddhists have Buddha.
Yeah.
He's the pinnacle of wisdom and knowledge. You have some religions that have multiple deities, but there's always still a one that's at the top of the hierarchy.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a cult. If you have religion, you are in a form of a cult.
All right. So you say, yo, like there are some aspects of a cult in terms of Hebrew Israelites. What did you mean by that?
Well, his definition, he's correct in what he said.
Yeah.
Because what a cult actually is just what he said.
Okay.
In modern terms now, people use it only to mean something negative.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what I said it was in that aspect where there are offshoots, fringe groups amongst the overarching Hebrew Israelite identity that function how we would look at a cult in a modern context.
Man, and do y'all believe that Jesus is God?
No, we don't like the Trinity. No, we vehemently stand against the Trinity.
I got you, man. Now, what do you feel like Jesus' racial identity is, right? Because I have heard like some people in these like street interviews say that Jesus is black.
Yeah, we believe that emphatically predicated upon what the primary source about Jesus' life is, which is the Bible. The New Testament is the primary source about his life historically. So it describes him physically as a black man, and then there's additional historical information that gives insight on the racial identity or the appearance of the Jews of the first century and even going back before that.
Right. So for the people who say, yo, Jesus is from the Middle East, he's not black. Like what's the response like that proves no, he's black?
Well, I like to ask a question. Number one is that 2,000 years ago, the predominant race of people in the United States of America were Native Americans.
Sure.
They're not the predominant group of people here. So when you take a look at 1,000 years, pointing to the people who are in a particular region at one time has no indication at what it looked like 2,000 years ago, right?
Yeah.
So we're talking about somebody who lived 2,000 years ago. On top of that, conceptually, the Middle East is a political region that's a modern invention.
Sure.
So in antiquity, the Middle East was not even a concept, right?
Okay.
So we have to actually look at who lived where. So if we follow the biblical narrative and that corresponds with history, you had African people, Ethiopians, all the way far past damn near to India, establishing kingdoms all the way there.
Okay.
So past where Jesus is from, black people already had empires long before Jesus even came about.
Sure.
So to say that a Middle Eastern person is a monopoly on a phenotype of a modern day Arab is just totally historically inaccurate.
Sure. And I do know like the Bible would say what? Like he has like a skin of copper.
Hair of wool, a skin of bronze as if it burnt in the furnace, giving an emphasis on the darkness. And then that's in Revelation 1. It reemphasizes it in Revelation 2. And then in Revelation 4, it says God himself looks like a jasper and a sardine stone. So anybody out there can Google jasper and sardine stones. They're dark brown natural stones that exist. So it's describing the Father, God himself, and his son as dark-skinned men.
Wait, sure, right? But do you feel like dark skin, like?
And that's right. You know, the brother literally went through the precepts to show you why we believe that. Not just, hey, brothers is just saying that. It's literally a case by case. It's multiple precepts. And like the brother was going to the Middle East, and that's a new invention, and I believe in the 1900s. Like that they set that up. Right? That wasn't something that they that was something that's always been right. They got a man-made river that divided it up, which make so-called the Middle East, right? So that concept doesn't make sense, right? And like the brother said, it's multiple precepts like the brother quoted, right? I'm gonna give another precept to show you why we believe it. All right, let's get Daniel. Right, this is Daniel chapter 7, verse 9. It says, I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the ancient of days they sit, whose garment was white as snow. So the ancient days is another word for the most high, right? It says, so he had a garment on as white as snow, and it says, and the hair of his head were like the pure wool. His throne was like the fiery flame. So he has the woolly hair, just like how Christ is depicted in Revelations 2, right? So, and even the brother went furthermore into what the Most High looked like as well, right? Let me get this other picture real quick. All right, let me get Daniel chapter 10 and verse 6. It says, his body also was like the beryl, and his face as the appearance of lightning, and his eyes as a lamp of fire, and his arms and his feet like unto color to polished brass, and the voice of his words like the voice of the multitude. So he had a green garment on, the beryl, right? And his face was like lightning. His eyes was as a fiery lamp, and his arms and his feet like the color of polished brass. So furthermore, it goes with the same narrative or the same precepts that you see in Revelations, right? Let's keep going.
Like, for example, right, when I think about black, right, now we all have an origins back to Africa, but when I think about like skin of copper, I'm thinking about Habibi, right? Right, so like when I see like skin of copper, I'm automatically thinking, like Habibi, or there's some dark skin, right? Like there's some dark skin natives too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I do think that we do need a little bit more than just the description, right?
Yeah.
So in terms of historical proof, do we have historical proof that Jesus is black?
Yeah, certainly. And like you even said, though, dealing with the natives, dealing with Arabs, you have a diversity amongst people. This idea that people, especially in Antigua, are just homogenous, that everybody just looked exactly the same.
Yeah.
If you take a look at some of the oldest depictions of the Israelite people in Egypt, on the walls in Egypt, you see a diversity. You see people that look like me. You see people that look like you. You see people that look like you. But this is all looked at as the same group of people.
Sure.
Of course, because if you have a family that then grows into a nation, you have to use other people. You have to mingle with other people in order to procreate. If you're this new group of people, right? So what happened is they were mingling with the people around them, so they had a diversity in their looks. So it could go from, again, like you all the way to me and everything in between. That's how they're depicted historically, right? So that is kind of further historical evidence as well.
All right, man. And do you, as a Pan-African, believe Jesus is black?
I believe that Jesus is an Arab person. I think he's a Palestinian Jewish person. I think he most likely looks like how those people look right now, like an Arab. I mean, if he even existed, I think that's how he would look. And the reason I think that is because there's just, when you look at the Bible and you even look at like the Israelites in Egypt, they could distinguish between an Israelite and an Egyptian, right? They say, oh, this person's an Israelite, this person is an Egyptian. If everybody looked the same, how would you even do that? How would you know just off a sight, oh, this person's one of the Hebrews, this person's one of the Egyptians? It's like there were black nations at that time. You had Nubians, you had Ethiopians, you had Egyptians. If these Hebrew people were black, I think that would have been, noted. And also when they left Egypt, what kept them from just assimilating into any of those places? Hey, we're all black. Let's get together. I think that there were Arabs. I don't think the Arabs necessarily were the dominant group in that region at the time. And I think that that's probably one of the reasons why they went around fighting everybody. It was just like kind of a foreign entity that had come into that region.
All right. So
can I respond to that? So that was very ignorant for you to say that. For you to say that because you said in the Bible they were able to distinguish Israelites and Egyptians.
Yeah.
But Moses grew up with the Egyptians in the Bible and was considered an Egyptian, regarded as an Egyptian. So how can he be regarded as an Egyptian if he was distinguishably, noticeably different than the Egyptians? Additionally, if we go to the New Testament, Paul was called an Egyptian, which was a prominent Jew. So now if we have two different people who were indistinguishable, two of the most prominent Israelites in the Bible who were indistinguishable from the Egyptians, your entire point just fell apart.
Well,
yeah, and that's another point. I believe the brother is probably going into this. All right, that's probably what he's kind of getting into. That's what the brother's probably saying. This is Exodus chapter 11 in verse 7, right? It says, "But against of any children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue against man or beast, but ye may know that the Lord doeth put a difference between Egyptians and Israel." Right. So I think the brother, that's the precept the brother is thinking in his head of maybe when he talking about, oh, the Lord made a distinctive difference between the Israelites and the Egyptians, right? But in that sense, we understand that, but at the same point, as the brother was going into, the phenotypes could be either the same or not the same, right? Because it was all so-called dark races at the time. But like the brother was going into with, he went into it with Moses, right? It was very prominent that Moses lived amongst the Jews. I mean, he lived amongst the Egyptians, right? Let me get this real quick. All right. Let's get this real quick. About Moses. All right. Let's start at Let's start at Con. We start at Exodus chapter 3 and verse. Get to the point. Verse 2. It says, "And the angel of the Lord appeared unto him in a flame of fire out of the midst of the bush, and he looked, and behold, the bush burned with fire, and the bush was not consumed. And Moses said, I will not turn aside and see this sight, while the bush is not burned. And when the Lord saw that he turned aside to see, God called unto him out of the midst of the bush and said, Moses, Moses. And he said, Here I am. And he said, Draw nigh hither, put off thy shoes from off thy feet, for the place whereon thou standest is holy ground. For moreover, he said, I am God of thy father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. And Moses Moses hid his face, for he was afraid to look upon God. And the Lord said, I have surely seen the affliction of my people. So that was the reason the Lord even went to Moses, right? He said, I've seen the affliction of my people, which are in Egypt, and have heard their cry by reason of their taskmasters. For I know their sorrows, and I come down to deliver them out of the hand of Egypt, of the Egyptians, and to bring them up out of that land unto a good land, and large, unto a land flowing with milk and honey, unto the place of Canaanites, Hittites, Amorites, the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites. Right? So that's the reason why they even, going back to the brother And the point, that's the reason why they even went to those nations, or they that landmass, because the Lord already promised them that, going back to Abraham, that he was going to give them a land full of milk and honey, right? So, but the brothers, he's going to keep going real quick.
Use the word regarded as a Egyptian. You wouldn't have to be regarded as an Egyptian if you looked like an Egyptian. Moses was the adopted son of Pharaoh, so he was given the same allowances and the status as a Egyptian. But for that to have happened, if you adopt a kid that shows same color, you don't have to tell people, oh, that's my adopted. Just that's my son, and people take it at face value. But because there was a distinction between the way Moses looked and the way the typical Egyptian looked, it had to be noted that he was regarded as an Egyptian, so that people would know to give him the same respect as an Egyptian person of that rank.
It was not. It wasn't noted that it was regarded. What I'm saying by regarded is what all stories about Moses up until the point where he leaves Pharaoh's house. Is he's an Egyptian, right? I can go before that. Let's go to Joseph, one of the 12 sons. When his brothers saw him,
that's correct, because even in the beginning, right? It's that Moses even got there, right? Let's read up on that. That's Hebrews chapter 1, right? And Hebrews chapter 2 in verse right, I'm gonna start at 3. It says, and when she could not longer hide him, she took him out in ark bulrushes and daubed him in slime and with pitch, and put the child therein, and she laid it to the flags by the river brink. And his sister stood far off to wit what would be done to him. And the daughter of Pharaoh came down to wash herself in the river, and her maidens walked along by the riverside. And when she saw the ark among the flags, she sent her maid to fetch it. Right? It says, and when she had opened it, she saw the child, and behold, the babe wept. And she compassion on him and said, these are one of the Hebrew children. Right? So it's a reason why she knew that was a Hebrew child. When you go back into the position where the Hebrews stayed in Egypt, right? You can get that right. It says, because when they first came in with Joseph, right? It says, this is Exodus chapter 1, verse 7. It says, and the children of Israel were fruitful and increased abundantly and multiplied and waxed exceedingly mighty, and the land was filled with them. Now there arose a new king over Egypt, and knew not Joseph. And he said unto his people, behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. Right? So this new man, he came, now he don't know who Joseph was, right? But Joseph set them up in the land already where they was going to dwell, right? They was already established in the land. Because why? Joseph was second command under the Pharaoh at the time, right? So when you go all the way, when you read about the Egyptians in Israel, it was already known where the Israelites were at in that region, right? So they knew, who was who. But at the same token, let me get this reset. You also got to know that there was always a dark race, right? You get that in Exodus chapter 4. Right. Let me get that real quick. This is Exodus chapter 4 in verse 6. It says, and the Lord said furthermore unto him, put now thy hand into thy bosom. And he put his hand into his bosom, and when he took it out, behold, his hand was leprous as snow. So we know he was a dark complexion man. But now the Lord is showing him the difference, right? He said he put it in his bosom, and he turned leprous as snow, right? He says, and he said, put thy hand into thy bosom again. And he put his hand into his bosom again, and plucked it out of his bosom. And behold, it was turned again as his other flesh. Right? So he was once a dark and became that white, went back and was back to his regular flesh. Right? So let's keep going.
Thought that was an Egyptian. They didn't think that was their brother. They thought that was an Egyptian, right? So here we have, again, 3 of the most prominent Israelites in the whole Bible are all saw and not expected, but believed to be Egyptians by the people that see them, right? So if they looked ethnically distinguishably different, then that wouldn't happen.
And
not even that, and Christ even fled to Egypt to mix to blend in when Herod was trying to seek out to kill him. Why did they then just go to some other land? They went straight into Egypt so they could blend in.
If they were indistinguishable, right? You would not have to regard him as an Egyptian.
But respond to what I just said.
If you look white, I wouldn't have to regard you as a white person. I would just say, oh, he's a white person.
But you're not responding to what I just said, because I already addressed that, right? And then I gave you additional information. Joseph, when his brothers saw him, they thought everybody thought that was it wasn't a regard. It was what they believed when they saw the individual.
Let me ask you a question.
No, you got to respond to that, Joseph. You got to respond.
I'm going to respond to that. First of all, Joseph was a servant in the house of Pharaoh. So
Joseph was the highest ranking.
Yeah, that's fine.
At that time, he was the highest ranking person in all of Egypt.
He was still a servant in the house of Pharaoh.
Not at the time when his brothers encountered him. What I'm referencing.
Yeah, he was.
No, not at the time that I'm referencing. He wasn't. No.
Okay, well, when his brothers saw him after he was sold into slavery, remember they were in trouble, and when they saw him, he played a trick on them. So clearly, in Egypt was like a cultural hub at that time.
1,000%.
Many people coming in to trade from many different places. So the skin color of an Egyptian or a servant inside of Pharaoh's house was not distinctly one color. What I would say to you is this: when Pharaoh's daughter found Moses on the river, how did she know he was a Hebrew kid if they all look the same?
Well, that's easy because he was circumcised.
You find it. Well, if you find
he was circumcised.
Okay,
they didn't circumcise their kids.
Okay,
all right, and that's another point.
Right. Israelites did.
Okay, so if they say he was circumcised, right? Okay, so if this person is adopted by the Pharaoh, right? Because on top of that, we didn't even know. The Bible doesn't even talk about whether Moses was circumcised or not. So that's just an assumption.
But that's literally was Abraham. So that's literally what happened.
But
that's the tradition of the Hebrews.
But when the Hebrews were in Egypt for 436 years,
they weren't. They weren't there at the point of Moses. They weren't there. 436 years.
436 years of being in a society. You adopt those society's rules.
Moses was the 3rd generation of Egypt.
Let me tell you,
the 3rd generation.
Even when
that wasn't 436 years.
Talks about the Hebrews. Leaving out of Egypt. Remember, Moses had to come in and basically reteach those people who their God was.
Yes.
So if they didn't even know who their God was, what made you think that they were?
Now, the brother, he's kind of he know what he's talking about, but he don't. A lot of conflating things. He trying to mix things in. So like the brother who was saying, they had to know. I mean, they was keeping their customs still, right? Let me get this precept. That's how you know they was keeping their customs. Right. This is Exodus chapter 1, verse 15. It says, "And the king of Egypt spake to the Hebrew midwives." So they had midwives set up for a reason, right? It says, of which the name of the one was Shipra and the name of the other Pubah. And he said, when ye do the office of the midwife to the Hebrew woman and see them upon the stools, and be a son, then you shall kill him. But if it's a daughter, then you shall live. Right. So they had midwives set up. We know the covenant of the circumcision was something that was brought down back to Abraham. That you had to set up with him. So based off, they had midwives set up to take care of the children that was being born. Of course, they was being circumcised because that was the customs of the Israelites, like the brother saying, right?
Practicing the practices of Hebrews.
We weren't talking about the religion. We're talking about the culture. But again,
the culture is cemented, rooted in the religion.
But here's the first off, they don't even have the religion introduced to them yet until Moses. Number one.
Wait.
But they have cultural. Hold on, they have cultural practice. They have cultural practices.
I want you to answer my question.
Listen, you still haven't answered my question because I asked you about Joseph. I asked you about Joseph, and you brought me back to Moses.
And I'm answering.
No, you did not answer the question. You did not answer the question. You told me that there was a clear ethnic distinction between the two people. And now I need you to explain why Joseph's brothers did not recognize him. That's what I asked you. Please answer it.
I'm going to answer it again. You said that Pharaoh's daughter knew Moses was
Notice
Hebrew.
We're going back to Moses. I just asked you about Joseph for the third time, and you're running from that because you have no answer for it, brother. You have no answer for it. Just concede, bro.
No, I'm
just
not conceding because
don't let the pride get you. Just concede. You're stumped. Go ahead.
No, I already answered that. I already told you that Egypt was a cultural hub.
So if Egypt is a cultural hub, how are the people? How are the people homogenous, and then you're able to identify them exclusively?
You gotta let me answer the question. You gotta let me answer. Egypt was a trade hub. There were people of many nations who of different backgrounds who served in the house of Pharaoh. We know that. There were even prostitutes in Egypt that were from Asia and all over the place. When his brothers saw him, and he went from being a boy that they stuck in a basket and sold into slavery, when they see him as a servant of the house of Pharaoh, he's totally different. Bro got on all the garbs. He's looking good. He got the jewelry, all that. He's looking like a new person. Plus, remember when they sold him, he was a boy. When they re-encountered him, he was a man. So they didn't recognize him. Simple. It has nothing to do with color. What I'm telling you is
that's not an answer.
That is an answer.
No, because I didn't say why
I took your brother away from you when he was 12, and you see him when he's 28. You might not recognize him.
No, I didn't say why didn't they recognize his brother.
That's exactly what you asked.
No, I said why didn't they recognize him ethnically? If there is a clear, distinguishable ethnic difference between these two groups of people, why did they think that when they saw him, they even referred to him as an Egyptian? They didn't say if there's a clear difference between these two groups of people and how they look, and it's observable with the naked eye, why did they look at him and say he was an Egyptian?
Because
that's what I'm asking you.
Egyptians came in different colors.
If they
all
came,
Egyptians,
and that debunks your premise. Thank you for debunking your own premise.
Let me finish. Egyptians came in different colors. All of them were not one standard color. Why? Because the mixing. There were dynasties where they had freaking damn near entirely Asian people that were pharaohs in Egypt. So there was a lot of race mixing in Egypt. But what I'm telling you is, when you talk about how did Pharaoh's daughter recognize Moses, you said because he was circumcised. But then at the same time, you said that they were not practicing their religion. They had to be reintroduced to their God. So if you're not practicing the religion, what makes one think that you are actually practicing the religious customs, such as circumcision? It's like black people in America. We had a bunch of customs in Africa. 400 years of slavery later, a lot of that stuff we are no longer practicing.
And that's the thing. I mean, the brother he's not hearing himself, right? Because the whole reason for the Most High even bringing them back, I read it already, right? They was being afflicted in Egypt. They went in there peacefully, then they came in, years later, and the man, whoever Pharaoh was at the time, whoever it was at the time, literally came in and start putting them to work as slaves, right? This is Exodus chapter 1 in verse, I read it, I'm going to read it again. It says, verse 10, it says, "Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply, and it come to pass that when they fall out of any war, they join also unto the enemies and fight against us, and so get them out of the land. Therefore, they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens, and they built for Pharaoh treasure cities, Pithom and Ramses. But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew, and they were grieved because of the children of Israel." Right? And the Egyptians made the children of Israel serve with rigor, and they made their lives bitter with hard bondage and mortar and brick, and in all manner of service in the field. All of the service wherein they made them serve was with rigor, right? So that was literally why the brother, the Pharaoh, that's just like the Most High literally went to go get the children of Israel out of captivity, right? Because they was being led in captivity, right? And that's literally what he told Moses to do, right? And that's in Exodus chapter 3, right? He said what? This is Exodus 3:7. It says, "And the Lord said, I surely seen the affliction of my people, which are in Egypt, and I heard their cry by reason of taskmasters, for I know their sorrows." Right? He says, "And I come down to deliver them out of the hand of Egypt, of the Egyptians, and to bring them up out of that land into a good land, and enlarge in it, and and a large unto a land flowing with milk and honey, unto the place of Canaanites, Hittites, Amorites, Perizzites, and Hivites, and the Jebusites. Right? So that's literally what the whole gist was. It wasn't that they wasn't carrying out their traditions at all, because the traditions was always passed through orally. It was always something orally that they was doing. It was passed down from one generation to another generation to another generation, right? So like you say, right? So let's keep it pushing.
Practicing.
False equivalency. So, like I said, Moses is not 400 years later, right? He's literally the third generation in Egypt. So, just like we can take a look at certain customs and cultures that were carried over into Africa, certain ones, especially in the Caribbean, that still had were preserved, we can see that there. But that's irrelevant. The whole point was, like I said, the Hebrews and all these people mixed among different people and had variance in looks. You just now made my point when I asked you the question. Thank you, because your point was that when you saw these two people, the reason why we know these people are Arab, because you can see them and they're different, but you just admitted when you see them, they're not different because there was mixing and there was a diversity amongst the people. So thank you.
No, I'm talking about
for making my point.
I'm talking about a specific incident with Joseph. And I'm not even saying that they didn't recognize him because of the color of his skin, but because one, he had matured greatly since the time they sold him in. Plus, he's dressed like an Egyptian. Back in those days, people had different costumes. They wore different things.
True.
So when they saw the dude, they're not even thinking, damn, my brother who I sold into slavery ended up in the house of Pharaoh as one of Pharaoh's top advisors. No one's thinking like that.
That's a straw man. I didn't say I recognize him as their brother. I'm talking about ethnically recognize him, not in their relation to them, but I'm talking about as an ethnic, because you said there was observable ethnic differences, bro.
Just like you are a Belizean.
Haitian,
right? There's Belizean people who are your color, like
1,000%.
There's different colors. The point I'm getting at is this: these people, you're saying that Moses was easily recognizable, and that means that the Egyptians look like the Hebrews, right? But I'm saying the Egyptians and the Hebrews didn't necessarily look alike. They were different. Egyptians were dark-skinned people or people with color. Hebrews are like Canaanite, Lebanese people. Those people are light-skinned. They're still around. Their DNA is still here. Go to Lebanon. So
they're not Canaanites.
Your whole premise is based
Lebanese people are Arabs, they're not Canaanites.
Right. What? No, they're Canaanites. If you do the research, they're Canaanites. They're descended from Canaanites.
I've done. There's no primary DNA resource on Canaanites.
No, yes, there is.
I've debated the top PhD scholar on the planet Earth on debates on DNA in the Middle East. It's got hundreds of thousands of views, bro. You don't know what you're talking about.
You debated, bro.
You don't know what you're talking about.
All it takes is a soft Google search. You can see that those people in the Levant region, the land known as Lebanon.
I've actually referenced the peer-reviewed genetic study journals on this, sir. Not a quick Google search.
You're saying you did
a quick Google search.
You're saying you did the peer review journals, right?
With the top scholar on the planet Earth, who's a Jew.
I'm telling the people who are going to watch this, they simply can do a soft Google search, and all the information about the Lebanese people of today, directly descending from the Canaanites of back in the day.
Where's the sample of the Canaanite DNA?
Go look it up.
How does one determine that the bones of somebody?
Get to the bottom of it.
No, you didn't, because I'm going to explain. Because we have to unpack the methodology. How do you determine? We do, because you're talking about science. Science has methodology, bro. So if you don't understand the scientific methodology, you're not even in a position to talk about what's been proven.
Why don't you just go get a DNA test and prove that you're Hebrew?
I've already done it.
I bet you it's going to be 0% Semitic blood.
Here's
no, we talk about science. No, you're not going to do this. You're not going to go from fantasy land with me into science. Because if we're talking about science, let's end this debate. You do a DNA test, I do a DNA test, Flacco do a DNA test. This debate is over.
Here's the problem.
Zero Semitic blood inside you right now.
Here's what he doesn't understand. Here's what he doesn't understand. If he would just shut up, I have literally already debated a top Jewish scholar.
I don't care who you debated. We can get to the bottom of this today. Let's do a DNA test.
If I could talk, it would be amazing. I literally have already debated a top Jewish scholar on the planet Earth, submitted my DNA test, demonstrated the migrations of my family pursuant to my DNA test from Israel to the Sudan, across Africa into Ghana, Ghana and into slavery. And I've already done it with genetic research, with scientific research, with historical research, and with biblical research. Been there, done that. Sorry, Brandon.
Brandon. I would love to see this. You submitted DNA where it showed you coming from Israel, and they're I just don't believe you.
You don't have to believe
there's
it.
No one with this DNA.
Listen, you don't have to believe it. But the PhD scholar, the PhD Jewish scholar, had nothing to say to it. Had to concede to it.
Let me tell you.
But who are you? Who are you? Are you a geneticist? Are you a scholar? Do you have a PhD? Are you a historian? You're none of those things. If he can gainsay it, how could you?
Wait, hold on.
Here's Google. Let's
look. I'm a person who's smart enough to know that once you bring up science, there's no group of people known as Hebrew people in anywhere other than the Bible. There's no DNA known as Hebrew DNA. Even if you talk about the language of Hebrew, there's no language called Hebrew. Even what you guys call Hebrew is either Yiddish or ancient Canaanite language. You guys, Hebrew Israelites, period, are nothing more than one sect within the Canaanite people.
Why?
They're not their own
why
nation.
Though? Hold on. Why though? Do you know why that is? Why?
I know why. Because Moses threw blood on you guys on the
Bible. That don't make sense at all. You know, I don't know what the brother was gonna say, but that don't make sense at all. At all, man. Brother is literally saying Israelites. I say, he said a tribe of the Canaanites. That don't make sense at all. According to the biblical narrative, right? We go into the biblical narrative, you gotta stick to the point, right? Stick to the point. Stick to the precepts, man. Right? Because how the hell are the Canaanites and the Hebrew, the Israelites are in the same family? Now, what we're gonna say is, okay, everybody's kind of related, you know, in a sense. All these nations is kind of related in a sense, right? We could say that, right? But the Canaanites and the Israelites are come from two different lineage of men that the Most High divided, right? And that's another thing too. Let me get this precept. All right. Let's get this precept real quick. That's what, you know, people fail to realize too now. Right, this is Sirach chapter 33, in verse 10. It says, all men are from the ground, and Adam was created. In much knowledge the Lord had divided them and made their ways diverse. Some of them he had blessed and exalted, and some of them had he sanctified, right, and set near himself. But some of them had he cursed and brought low and turned out to other places. Right. So literally, yes, we all related in some type of manner, type of way. But the Most High divided us. He literally divided every nation to their own lot and to their own inheritance. Right. That's why you got the Israelites here, the Canaanites there, you got the Moabites there, you got the Edomites there, right? You got the Ishmaelites there. You got all these other nations. They have their own thing, right? Let me get this other precept. All right. This is Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 8. It says, when the Most High divided the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. Right? He says, for the Lord's portion is his people, Jacob is the lot of his inheritance. So again, he divided all the nations that he made out of single people and single men. Right? So we're going to get down to what this brother is talking about. What is this dude talking about? The Canaanites and the Israelites are a tribe of the Canaanites. Don't make no damn sense. Right? Okay. We got Genesis 10. Right? Okay. Genesis 10, it says, verse 1. Now these are the generations of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. So Noah had 3 sons, right? It says, unto them were the sons born after the flood, right? So now I'll jump down to Ham, because Ham, this is the 2 nations that he's talking about, right? It says, this is Genesis 10 and 6. It says, and the sons of Ham, Cush, and Mizraim, Put, and Canaan. So Canaan comes from Ham, right? Not we know as Shem. We know the Israelites come from the seed line of Shem. We know that. You should know that already, right? And let's get it just so people can understand. This is Genesis chapter 10, verse 21. And to Shem also, the father of all children of Eber. Eber is where you get the word Hebrew from, right? It's the root word Hebrew, and you could go back down the root word, and that's where we get the word Hebrew from, right? The brother of Japheth, the elder, even to him were the children born. The children of Shem, Elam, Ashur, Arphaxad, and Lud, and Aram, right? And it goes all the way down to who? Abraham, Isaac, and who? Jacob, right? So that's how you know, right? So they can't. I understand what you're probably saying based on landmass and where the people is from, but also you gotta remember the Lord is dealing with a group of people or a man, and then a group of people. He always go from one man to another man. They got had children. Another man, they had children, and blah blah blah, and so forth, all the way down to what? The 12 tribes of Israel. So that's what the brother is missing, right? So the brother got to understand that these people we know as the Canaanites are not the same nation. Yeah, they are related in the way, cousins, but they are not the same entity, I should say, as the Israelites, right? So that's already you can't. That don't even make sense, right? They're literally come from two separate men that made up a nation of people, right? You know, yeah. Let's keep it going.
Bottom of Mount Sinai, and you guys entered an agreement saying we're a special sect of Canaanite.
Okay.
And then you guys got together and went around the Levant, killing every other
set of Canaanites. That don't make sense at all. That is dumb.
Canaanite group.
Okay.
I'll give you a prime example. The guy who taught Moses how to worship the Most High, his name was Jethro, right?
Yeah.
He was a Midianite priest.
True.
Moses,
he was a Canaanite.
Moses married one of Jethro's daughters.
Yeah.
But guess what? Wait, but you said he was Canaanite, right? So
Jethro
how
was
did
Canaanite,
this?
yeah.
So how was this Canaanite a priest of the Most High that you worship?
He wasn't a priest of the
Yes,
He was a priest of Midian. What's the name of the God of the Bible?
Listen, man.
What's the name of the God of the Bible? What's the name of the God of the Bible?
Wait. Let me make
What's
this
the
point.
name?
Let me make this point. Let me make
Jehovah,
this point.
right?
Wait, let me
That's
make
the
this point.
transliteration,
Let me make this point. In order, in Canaanite custom, which we can even call Hebrew custom, in order for you to marry one of these guys' daughters, you have to convert to their religion. So
Cite the source on that,
bro.
Cite the source.
Come on, man.
No. Cite the source.
Why are we arguing basic knowledge?
Cite the source. It's not basic knowledge if you can't cite the source.
If you want to marry a Jewish woman today, you have to convert.
The Talmudic practices of Jewish people today have no reflection on the ancient Canaanite customs, bro. What are you talking about?
Jethro,
can you please tell me?
Jethro.
What's your source?
The Bible. You can read this in the Bible.
Okay. So the source is the Bible. Now watch this. If we go in the book of Genesis, we have a conflict where Jacob has 12 sons and has one daughter.
You're filibustering.
No, I'm not.
You're filibustering.
I'm not filibustering.
I know you just worship.
I know he didn't worship Jehovah.
What God did he worship?
He didn't. He worshiped the gods of Midian. There were many gods. There were many gods. Number one, sin. Sin was the main god that he worshipped. Sin was the main god, the crescent moon god. I've answered the question. I've answered the question.
So what he's trying to argue.
I'm literally in the middle of a response. And he's trying to derail it because he's going to get his ass busted again. He's getting his ass busted again.
Listen to me. Go. Moses left out of Egypt, right? Moses worked for Jethro, right? Moses herded Jethro's sheep. He encountered the burning bush where he basically talked to God, right? After talking to God, Moses turned around and went and married the daughter of a pagan worshiper. That doesn't even make sense. Jethro was a Midianite priest because he worshiped the Most High. Later on, when they made their Israelite cult, the Israelites doubled back years later and eradicated the Midianites from the face of the earth. Israelites are nothing more than a religious sect that goes around, that back in those days went around slaughtering their own brethren, people who were directly related to them. And in this time, they go around weaponizing the Mosaic law against people in order to recruit people to their cause, to go around weaponizing against other people. You guys are doing the same work you did then now, just you can't kill anybody.
That's fine. So
wait.
Go ahead.
Sorry, right? So when you say they weaponize, what do you mean? Because that's, that's like a huge, a huge like accusation. So when you say like weaponize, like what's your
when I say
examples?
When I say weaponize it, meaning they don't use it in the way that Jesus Christ, their Lord and Savior, told them to use the law. They use the law as a weapon against people to basically deride people and make people feel like they're less than them. And the only way you can be like them is if you join them in going around making other people feel like they're less than them. It's just a recruitment organization. There's no real end game to it. I just need more people on my side to keep telling you that you ain't shit. And
ridiculous. But let me respond to what he said last though. Number one, so if we look, because the Bible is his admitted source, so let's just follow the Bible. Let's just follow the Bible.
Wait, like I said, like I'm gonna say, I understand what the dude is saying, but he got the wrong idea. Like the Most High said, hey, this is what the Most High said, dude. I mean, this is what Christ said, dude. First and foremost, let's get this real quick. This is wild. This is St. Matthew chapter 22. This is red letter, right? Christ is speaking, red letter, right? This is verse 9. It says, this is wild. Go ye therefore into the highways, and as many as ye shall find, bid to the marriage. And so the Lord said, literally go to the highways and hedges and bid as many to the marriage. So those servants went out into the highways and gathered all as many as they found, both bad and good. And the wedding was furnished with guests. And when the king came in and see the guests, he saw a man which he had on a wedding garment. So literally, Christ literally told us to go out to the highways and hedges to do the work of the Lord. Literally, that's literally what he told us to do. And he said, hey, find good, and he said, find bad. So the brother don't understand that's what we're supposed to do. We actually supposed to go out there and tell people where they're wrong at, right? And where they should go, right? Which way they should go, right? Let me get this up, you said. All right. This is Isaiah chapter 58, verse 1. It says, cry aloud, spare not, lift up thy voice like a trumpet, and show my people their transgressions, in the house of their Jacob their sins. So that's what we're supposed to do. And we crying loud, we sparing not, and we lifting up our voice like a trumpet and showing our people their transgressions, which way they going, right? Are you going to be in sin, or are you going to get the kingdom of heaven, right? That's the whole gist of what we do. It's not just to be out there, hey, and just doing anything. But people just think that we brothers is out there just to be out there. But this is not out there just to be out there yelling at people. You think brothers is out there just to be out there yelling at people, right? You think brothers is just gonna go out there and start yelling at people just cause? That don't make no sense, man. Right? Let me get Proverbs chapter 1 in verse 20. It said, wisdom cried without, she uttered her voice in the streets. She cried in the chief place of concourse, in the openings of the gate. In the city, she uttered her word, saying, how long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity? And the scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge. Turn you at my reproof. Behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you. I will make known my words unto you. So what is this dude talking about? The Lord literally said, go out there and preach the word. Go out to the highways and hedges and preach the word. The brother don't know what he's talking about. Christ out of his own mouth said, hey, go out to the highways and hedges and bid as many people to the marriage. Ain't good or bad. So you think, like I said, you think brothers just out there teaching and doing all this for nothing? No, that's insanity. Brothers is putting a knife on the knife. All type of things can happen to brothers out there. All type of things, right? All type of things could happen to brothers out there, right? Let us keep going, man.
Narrative. The biblical narrative is we got Jacob, he got 12 sons, he has one daughter. His daughter's name is Dinah. He allows his daughter Dinah, and the Canaanite man allows his daughter Dinah to do what? Marry Dinah, right? That's Genesis 34. Now, understanding that if you have to convert in order to marry, there's no conversion that's said there. The sons are upset about it because they're mad that they don't want this to happen, but the pops has no problem with it because there's nothing inherently wrong with it, right? So there's no, okay, show it to me.
Shechem raped Dinah. Then her brothers went and killed Shechem and all the other Canaanites. You want to pull up the Bible?
No,
because I can prove it.
Shechem didn't.
Shechem raped Dinah. And then her brothers went and killed him and all the other Canaanites.
No. Again, so Shechem lay with Dinah.
Do we need to bring up this back?
I got it in my pocket. I teach this. I teach this. Now hold on. Now let's
You'll destroy me unequivocally if you just read it.
No, let's say Shechem raped Dinah, right?
Did.
Okay, cool. So did he make her convert to the religion?
He raped her.
Did he make her convert to a religion? Did her father consent to convert her to a religion?
He had to rape her to
you
convert
just said in order for them to get married, they have to convert.
You brought up an example that ain't even related to what you're talking about. How does someone raping somebody involve conversion for marriage?
Because they got married.
Okay.
They got married.
So why did her brother kill all these people who were involved?
Because they didn't like it. Only two of her brothers did. Levi and Simeon, we understand that.
So why did they kill anybody?
No.
They just were like, we don't like it.
Because they don't like it. It was against their father, and their father cursed them for it.
Okay.
So you mean to tell me it was a rape, but the father cursed their sons for getting retaliated?
It was a rape.
What sense of that?
It was a rape.
But again, now they got married after that. Where is the conversion?
All right.
Where's the conversion?
Look,
now, part two, was Moses married to Jethro before or after the burning bush? Was he married to
his daughter?
Was he married with Jethro's daughter before or after the burning bush?
You know what? I think after.
No, it was.
Before.
It was before. So your point. That's another moot point that you made. So
now it's not a new point.
Yes, it is.
It's not a new point.
Yes, it is.
Who was the God that Jethro was the priest to?
Not Yahweh. Not the Tetragrammaton. Show it to me.
So
pull up the Bible. Show me where Joseph worshipped, where Jethro worshipped the Most High. Show it to me.
It doesn't tell you who Jethro worshipped.
Okay, so you're making a definitive statement. You're making a definitive declarative statement. No, stop that.
Okay,
you're making a definitive declarative statement about the God that was worshipped. That was God that was worshipped by Jethro, who lived in a region where they worshipped the pantheon of deities, none of which is the patron deity of the Israelites.
The Israelites lived in the same region. The Israelites had a pantheon of deities as well.
No, Midian is not.
They were all Canaanites.
No, Midian is not the same region as Canaan.
Are Israelites Canaanites?
Hold on.
Let me ask you a question. Are Israelites Canaanites?
Not linearly, but historically they're regarded as so.
You became bro. You don't even understand your own religion.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
They didn't become
Yes, I do.
Wait,
just because you're loud doesn't make you right, Brandon. Just because you're loud doesn't make you right, bro.
Let me ask you a question. When did the Israelites become Israelites?
When they came out of their father Jacob's nuts and was shot into their mother's womb. That's when they became an Israelite. Israelite means descendant of Israel. Jacob's name was changed to Israel. That's when they became Israelites.
Hey, man, you can't. How you gonna be an Israelite and you don't come from lineage, right? That don't make sense, man. Hey, brother, get on this dude's head. He don't know what he's talking about, man. He just saying stuff. Just literally just saying things. Right? Don't make no sense, man. We all know when you became something of an Israelite. You know? Really, he broke it down very eloquently.
True. Okay. What does the word Israelite mean? What does it mean? Break it down. Break down the suffix and the prefix. What does it mean?
Listen, let me
break it down.
Let me
tell me what Israelite means.
I'm going straight.
What does the word mean?
I'm going straight from the Bible.
What does the word mean?
I'm going straight from
Israelite.
the Bible.
What does the word?
Pause, man, because he don't know what he's talking about. Literally, Israelite. Literally, Israel. Literally is named after a man named Jacob. The ITE, the I literally means a descendant of Jacob. So you have to be a descendant of Jacob to be an Israelite. You can't be an Israelite if you're not a direct lineage to Jacob are Israel. It's plain, man. Right? That don't make no sense, man. So we literally gotta go case by case. Jacob had 12 sons. They are the Israelites, and everybody that come out of them sons, they are Israelites. Right? That's plain. That's simple math. 1, 2, 3.
Hebrews.
What does the word mean?
Tell me. Let me get a word.
Yeah, I need to know. I'm asking you a question. What does Israelite mean?
I asked you a question. You did not.
What does Israelite mean? You don't know.
Now I'm going to give you the answer.
You don't know. Thank you. Go ahead.
Listen. Anyway, these people did not become chosen people of the Most High until they camped out at Mount Sinai. Moses went up the mountain, talked to the Most High.
We know that.
He came down. They slaughtered the bulls. He read the covenant to them. They agreed to the covenant. Then he sprinkled blood on them. That's when they became Israelites.
No, show me in the Bible where it says that became Israelites. Because you don't know what the word Israelite even means.
I know exactly what Israelite
means. What does it mean? What does it mean?
I'm not answering you because you
don't know. You don't know. You don't know. Thank you for telling us you don't know.
Define it first, though. What's an Israelite?
Israelite is simple. Israel is the prefix because there's a man whose name is Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel. Israel. Ite means descendant of. Israelite means descendant of Israel. There's not a ritual that can happen to make somebody then descendant of somebody. You either are their descendant or you are not their descendant. Man. They are called the Israelites. They're reckoned as the Israelites. They're reckoned as the children of Israel before that ritual occurs on Sinai, period.
I'm going to explain. No, wait. Let me explain this to you. Can he not interrupt me?
Sure.
Okay, look. Israelites were not just people who descended from.
Right. And let's see. Because the brother, he don't know what he's talking about. That's the dumbest thing ever. Right. This is Exodus chapter 1. Literally going on to GRLA Hebrews point. This is Exodus chapter 1. It says, now these are the names of the children of Israel. So they already being called Israel. And this is Exodus 1. Wait, I thought they came Israelites. And if I'm not mistaken, the brother is going into what? Because I think he conflating two things. Is he talking about the Passover, or are he talking about after Moses came down from the mount? So that would be Exodus 20, right? But we know from Exodus 1, they was already called Israel from the gate. So brother don't know what he's talking about.
When the Israelites left Egypt, they left in what's called a mixed multitude or a mixed company. There were even Egyptians who converted to worship of the Most High and left Egypt with the Israelites. That's in, I think, Exodus 12:38, somewhere in there. When they came to the bottom of that Mount Sinai, there were people of all races at that bottom of that mountain. They were not just descendants of Jacob. That is why Moses slaughtered the bulls and made those people enter into a covenant with the Most High to validate them as Israelites. When he sprinkled that blood, they all became Israelites. Okay? Later on in the Bible, it tells you. Later on in the Bible, it tells you that people are not just Israelites or Jews of the flesh. It talks about the heart. It even has people who were not Israelites who converted over and became Israelites. I'll give you a prime example. There's a guy named Caleb. That guy was a Kizanite. He wasn't an Israelite. Why was that guy one of the leaders in the tribe of Judah? His tribe.
I'm not a Judite.
They'll tell you, well, they all say tribe of Judah.
They'll
tell you if the only way you could be an Israelite or a Hebrew Israelite is if you're black. It's not true because many people, let's look at Ruth. You ever heard of the story of Ruth and Naomi?
Yeah.
She was a Moabite. And she's directly in the line of lineage for Jesus. You heard of Rahab, the prostitute? She was a Canaanite. She's also directly in the line of lineage for Jesus. They posture on this idea that unless you're black, you can't be an Israelite. But if you go through the Old Testament, you see many people who are not Hebrews or Israelites, as they would tell you, which they're really just Canaanites. They were all up and through that lineage. They were all mixed in. Look at Moses' wife. She wasn't an Israelite. So It's constant mixing, constant intermarrying. But now, because they want to use it as a way to like make themselves seem better than everybody, now all of a sudden it's this like racially distinct thing. It's never been that. It's never gonna be that. All through your history that you think is this in the Bible. Oh yeah. It's mixing, race mixing.
Yeah, I know you thought you ate, brother, but you would first have to understand my position before you get combative. So you said a whole bunch of stuff that was pointless, right? It doesn't matter what women were involved. A lineage is dealing with man to man, right? So we understand that.
That's not true. Jewish lineage is passed through the mom.
Yeah, that's Jewish lineage. That's not what the Torah prescribes.
So you're not Judean.
Hold on. Does the Torah prescribe that?
You're not.
Hold on. Does the Torah prescribe that? I've never claimed to be the tribe. I'm not the tribe of Judah. I'm the tribe of Levi.
Okay, you're a Levi, so you're a priest.
1000%.
The brother said something else ignorantly wrong again. You are the seed of your father. That's plain, right? It's plenty of precepts that you could literally go to show you are the seed of your father, right? Let me get this precept. This is fundamental things that the brother don't even know. It's just talking, man. People just like talking and don't know what they talking about. Just talking, man. All right. This is Numbers chapter 1. This passage. This is Numbers 1:18. It says, and they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names from 20 years old and upward by the polls. That's plain. And every time you deal with a lineage, it's always going from one man to another man to another man to another man to another man. It's never through this woman to a woman to a woman to a woman to a woman. That's not biblical. That's not biblical at all. So I don't know what is this brother talking about. This brother is talking very ignorantly. Hey, don't even know. He think he's, like the brother said, he think he's eating, but he's not. He's just talking, right? Just talking. Right, let me get this other piece. Right. To show furthermore that it's always been through the man. Always. So that's what it is. All right. This is what I want. Okay. Yeah, let me get this video. There it go. This is First Ezra, chapter 5 and verse 36. It says, these came up from Thermalet and Therlessa and Charalathar, leading them, and Alar. Neither could they show their families nor their stock, right? How they were Israel, the sons of Ladan, the sons of Ban, and the sons of Negadan, 652, and the priests that usurped the office of the priesthood, and were not found, the sons of Obadiah, the sons of Okaz, the sons of Adas, who married Agaiah, one of the daughters of Bezalel, and was named after his name, right? It says, and when the description of the kindred of these men was sought in the registry and was not found, they were removed from the executing the office of the priesthood. So literally, when you literally go into that word, stop, and they literally saying you couldn't find your lineage based on your stock of who you are according to your kindred. And it lists men after man after man after man. It's never after a woman, right? It's never after a woman, man. It's always after a man. It's never after a woman. Literally, even science teaches you that, right? Literally, the man has the seed, he plants the seed, and the woman nurtures that seed. It grows up, and then you have the baby, right? That's plain. So anybody could say what they want to say, but the Lord said is your lineage is predicated on who your father is, not maternity, paternity, right? Right. What is this? What is this dude talking about? Right. This don't make no sense. Squeaky clean. I don't even know why you in here if you don't, if you don't adhere to it. Why you in here? That don't make sense. You just in here just to talk because nobody believes you. I definitely don't. Who cares what you think? Right? Who cares? Right? Squeaky clean. Who cares? Yeah, we think the same. So who cares what you think? I want to know why you're on here if you don't align. It's not for you, man. Right? But you can't prove anything that you're saying either. You're just talking.
But you're a prophet.
I'm a priest and a prophet.
Oh, okay. I thought Levites were the priest class.
Priests and prophets.
I don't remember it saying prophet class.
Was Moses?
He's speaking again. Don't know what he's talking about. Right? He was just talking, man. I'm confused on why people just love just saying and blurting out things that they don't really know. Watch this. This is Exodus chapter 7 and verse 1. Right.
Moses a prophet?
Moses was a prophet.
Was he a Levite?
Moses was the leader. He was the head guy.
Okay.
He brought y'all all out.
And he's a prophet and a priest because he's a Levite. His brother Aaron, a prophet and a priest. Again. So now
I know Aaron was a priest. I know Aaron was a priest.
So now,
can you tell me the prophecy that Aaron gave?
Just priest.
Okay, so the Lord said we are a nation of kings and priests, right? That's what we are as Israelites. We are a nation of kings and priests. And we say some brothers is kings, prophets, and brothers is prophet, kings. Hey, some people's priests, prophets, king. Hey, it's a lot, man. We the Israelites, hey, that's who we are, man. Kings a luxurious status, right? But he, like the brother don't know what he's talking about, man. Because Aaron, he was a prophet as well, right? And we're gonna prove it, man. He said, Exodus chapter 7 and verse 1. It says, and the Lord said unto Moses, see, I have made thee a god to Pharaoh, right? And Aaron, thy brother, shall be thy prophet. So what is this dude talking about? Aaron was no prophet. Aaron wasn't this. Aaron was a priest and a prophet, man. Just like the brother. Brother say, I'm a priest and a prophet. Because he is Israelite. Right? So what is this brother talking about? What is the Pan-African is talking about, man? Huh? Don't know, understand it, man. They just talking. Right?
Please allow me to respond. So now he said he used the mixed multitude. Number one, he's convoluting terms. So he's thinking because people were around the Israelites that made them Israelites. That's not the case. And I have the point. Leviticus 24:10. The son of an Israelitish woman whose father was an Egyptian went out among the children of Israel. Yeah. So this person had a patrilineage that was not that of Israel. It was Egyptian. He was among the children of Israel, but because he was among the children of Israel, that shows us that he wasn't actually considered an Israelite. Hold on. Leviticus 24:10. Okay. He was not considered an Israelite. So yes, were there people who were not children of Israel or Jacob who were amongst? Certainly. Were there people who were procreated with who were amongst? Certainly. No one ever said that, right? So everything he said, what he is championing right now is his ability to build straw men and attack straw men, but to never actually, you would have to actually engage a point that I'm making to eat, brother. You're not eating, bro.
All right, let me explain this to you. This is the mind game they play with people who are not familiar with the Bible. When they gathered at the bottom of that mountain, they all entered into a covenant, into an agreement with the Most High. They didn't take out the kids whose daddy was an Egyptian.
That don't make sense because, like I read before, the Lord literally went up to set Moses up to go get the Hebrews out of the land of Egypt. That was literally his whole duty. It wasn't for everybody to come. And if you want to go even before that, this was a promise that he made it to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So what is this brother talking about, man? What is this brother talking about? Just because they was there at the bottom of the mountain, that doesn't mean you get the same treatment as the Israelites. And this is when the Lord literally gave them the commandments after the mountain, right? It was on the bottom of the mountain. Literally, the Lord was giving them the commandments. So last time I checked, it's the Lord gave Israel the commandments and none else. The last time I checked, he haven't dealt so with any other nation. So what is this brother talking about? Right? So why is he trying to strong man? Hey, like the argument, like the brother's talking about, like saying, why he's trying to strong man this, man? Right? He haven't dealt so with any other nation. So why is he trying to prove that the Lord was dealing with the nations, the mixed multitude as well? Right? That don't make sense at all. That don't make sense at all. Right? Let me get this precept real quick. But people like to say whatever they want to say. Again. Right? Again. People like to say whatever they want to say. I'm trying to find this precept. There you go. Let me get these precepts. This is Sirach chapter 24. And just get to point verse 8. It says, so the creator of all things gave me a commandment, and he that made me caused my tabernacle to rest, and said, let thy dwelling be in Jacob, and thy inheritance in Israel. He created me from the beginning before the world, and I shall never fail. In the holy tabernacle I served before him, and so was I established in Zion. So the Most High established in Zion, and none else. He didn't say I established in this nation, in that nation. No, he did. He never said that at all. So when he came down the mountain, how can you say that he was dealing with them as well? That makes sense. That don't make sense at all. So I don't know why people keep trying to enforce that ideology on people. That don't make sense, man. People got to stop doing that. Right? Stop doing that. Stop it, man. It's crazy. That's insanity, man. Trying to prove something that's not there is dumb. Right? Trying to prove something that's not there is just dumb. Right? Let me get this other precept. This is Psalms 147 and verse 19. It says, he showed his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He have not dealt so with any other nation. And as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye the Lord. Right? What can you say, man? What can you say? You can't say anything. Right? You can't say nothing, man. You can't say nothing, man. The precepts, it says what it says. Hey, the precepts and the line upon line, here or there or there, it says what it says. You can't be mad at this, man. Right? You can't be mad. You can be mad all you want to, but you can't, man. You honestly shouldn't be mad, but it is what it is. People gonna be mad all day long. Right? You can't do nothing about it. But the brother don't know what he's talking about. Right? When it came down to the mouth, that doesn't matter. Right? Doesn't matter. What is this dude doing, man? Squeaky clean, man. What's up with you? What do you say? All you have to do is have honesty, integrity, and read the Bible as a whole. Stop picking into. Hey, the Lord said, hey, precept upon precept, line upon line, here, there. That's how you get the understanding of the Most High. Right? But you don't know that. You just read it like a novelist, and you just read, man. You don't have no understanding. You probably not keeping no commandments. Probably not doing nothing the Lord said do. But you think you could come and say whatever you want to say, right? But that's not the timing we on right now. We here for this, right?
Did I say that? No. I never said that.
What I'm telling you,
straw man again.
So since
straw man king.
You gotta interrupt me. You gotta interrupt me.
You were sitting there begging when I was just talking right now. Straw man king. Let me know when you gonna talk to me, bro.
Okay. So look, boy, you interrupt me. You interrupt me every time.
Let me know when you gonna talk to me.
Anyway, they've lost this conversation a million times. Look, when they entered into the covenant with the Most High at the bottom of Mount Sinai. The Most High didn't say separate all the kids who had Egyptian daddies. He didn't even say separate the Egyptians. He let everybody who was in the mix decide whether or not they wanted to become Israelites. And Moses,
you could say that. That's a good little point, but that doesn't still negate the fact that the Most High always dealing with the Israelites. But then you gotta also think that's where, like, when you don't know the precepts, right? Is why in the future that was going on. Why in the future that was literally what's going on with the Israelites, right? Let's get that. He probably don't know these precepts. He probably only stick what he may heard, or whatever. Because it don't seem like he knows that much. Because I don't think he will be saying the thing that you're saying. A lot of things you're saying, I bet the brother is like, what is this brother talking about? Like, what is this dude talking about, man? Right? This is because I'm like, what is this brother talking about? This is Nehemiah chapter 13 and verse. Let's get it. Where should I start? I'm gonna start at 23. Right? It says, in those days also saw I Jews that had married wives of Ashdod and Ammon and Moab. So they marry, like the brother they mix and mingle with the marriages, right? It says, and their children spake half in the speech of Ashdod and could not speak in the Jews' language, but according to the language of the people, I contended with them and cursed them and smote certain them and plucked off their hair and made them swear by God, saying, ye shall not give your daughters unto their sons, nor take their daughters unto your sons, or for yourselves. So later on, he's saying this, but we know the Lord don't change the spirit of Israel, right? In this precept, Nehemiah is literally saying, hey, why are you dealing with these heathen women? Your children is being brought up in heathenistic customs and speaking their language, but they don't know their own native language. Why is that? Why is that? Right? And he proceeded and smoked them and cut the beards, and he did all that, man. All because they had children that didn't speak the native language of the Jews. So if that wasn't the spirit of Christ, or it was the spirit of Yahweh, while y'all was shy, then you can't say down at now that was literally going on. Right? Let me get something. I don't think the brother knows these precepts, man. Brothers don't know these precepts, man. Right? Get the classic, Classic. Man. Well, I want to start at. Man. We'll start at. It's a good right here, man. This is First Ezra chapter 9, right? In verse 7, right? So Ezra arose up and said unto them, ye have transgressed the law in marrying strange wives, thereby to increase the sins of Israel, and now by confessing give glory unto the Lord God of our fathers, and do his will, and separate yourselves from the heathen of the land and from the strange woman. Then cried the whole multitude and spake with a loud voice, like as thou hast spoken, so will we do. So like Hey, the mixing and mingling again. It was mixing and mingling as much, right? And they said that's a sin to deal with them, right? It says, but for as much as the people are many, and it is foul weather, so that we cannot stand without them. And this is not the work of the day or two. Seeing our sin in these things is spread far. So you say it's not going to be done in a day, right? So this is literally something they have set up. They literally saying, "Hey, stop messing with these heathen women," right? Right. Even when you go further, I'm gonna get to this other point that I want. Right. This point is crazy, right? Dang, where is that? I'm trying to get to that point. Oh, this, 36. So when you read this and you start listing all the men, right? This is where First Ezra chapter 9, verse 36. It says, all these had taken strange wives, and they put them away with their children, and the priests and the Levites, and they that were as Israel dwelt in Jerusalem in the country in the first day of the 7th month. So the children of Israel were in the habitation. Hey, they literally put the women away and the children away, man. So what is these brothers talking about? Don't know the precepts.
Moses read the agreement. It was like a contract. Do you agree to do all this? They said everything that is written, we agree to do, right? He threw the blood on all of them. And at that moment, they all became Israelites. Now, if this
show me where it says at that moment they all became Israelites. Book, chapter, verse.
The covenant.
No, show me where it says they became.
See that? Hey, squeaky clean. If you can't understand me, why are you replying things I just said?
Israelites.
That is
when did they become Israelites?
That is when they entered the covenant with the Most High.
Two different things.
So if this guy tells you that you are not an Israelite because you're not black or you're not a specific lineage, then that means that the covenant that those people entered.
And nobody's ever said you got to be black to be Hebrew. It's like, keep saying that. Like, nobody's saying that at all.
Into at the bottom of Mount Sinai in the 2nd month of them leaving from Egypt, that means that covenant is null and void. And this is what you guys do.
No, it doesn't.
You go.
No,
listen,
it doesn't.
There's a scripture in the Bible. I think it's at Matthew, the 23rd chapter. It says, you guys have placed yourselves in the position of Moses. See, Moses is the one who got the commandments and came down and told them to the people. They kick Moses out the way and they make up their own rules. Because if you go to as Exodus, the 12th chapter, you go to verse 23.
This dude said in Matthew 23, they kicked Moses out. And like, when did that ever say that? I'm confused, man. I'm confused. But let's keep going, man. I'm confused. When did they kick Moses out? Moses was already dead at the time. But I'm confused on what he's trying to say there.
You literally can read, verse 38, you can literally read, and let me pull this out because I had a note.
Yeah, if the 12:38 says, and a mixed multitude went up also with them, and flocks and herds, even very much cattle.
Okay, so then when you talk about the mixed multitude, that's who all left Egypt with them, right? So they left. It wasn't just exclusively Hebrews. It was a bunch of different people from a bunch of different places. So when they got to the bottom of that mountain, that would be at Exodus 19. They camped at Mount Sinai. First thing he told them is, don't have no sex. That means they was having a lot of sex within that group. So it was a lot of women getting pregnant, a lot of dudes who wasn't necessarily Hebrews impregnate women. First thing he said is abstain from sex. Then Moses came down, Exodus 24th chapter, verse 6 through 8. He literally asked them, did they want to join this covenant with the Most High? Before that, there was only the promise that was given to Abraham, right? But the people still had to agree to be in the covenant. That's why they were brought out of Egypt. The Most High talks about it. I brought you out not because you were the greatest among people, but because you were the smallest. But he did make a contract with them. Everyone who was there when he made that contract, they were considered an Israelite. So that alone.
Can you show me where it says they were considered an Israelite?
No,
show me where it says they were considered an Israelite.
I want you to read the scripture.
I'm going to show you where you're wrong. I got it.
Okay,
Don't worry about it.
I want you to read
this. No, I want you to read it.
I want you to
You're making the claim. You read the claim.
Semantics.
Did he just make a claim?
Bro,
make the claim. Wait. Prove the claim that they were Israelites. Prove it.
This is all they got. They got to try to interpret their own thing. If someone enters into a contract
just interpreted
with you, right?
That's what you're doing.
Say you sign a contract. And my wife is here and she signs it as well, right?
Filibuster.
Imagine someone coming and saying, show me where it said that this person right here is specifically an Israelite, specifically. No, by this person signing the contract, that means they're a part of the contract, right? If they agree to it and then he puts the blood on them, that means you're in the club.
But when did it say they were Israelites?
Bro, what are you talking about?
Don't worry, I got you. Just whenever you don't run your mouth, I got you.
You got me. Go ahead.
So now he's saying they're Israelites. This is long after this happened. This is Book of Numbers 11:4. And the mixed multitude, they're still being regarded as a mixed multitude apart from the Israelites. So how are they Israelites after this happened if they're still being called a mixed multitude? Now let's keep going. And the mixed multitude that was among them fell a lusting, and the children of Israel also wept again. So separate from them. Now let's skip to the end. Remember, the mixed multitude fell a lusting. Let's go now to verse 34.
What did that have to do with what you're saying? The mixed multitude fell a lusting?
If I can only make a point, right?
I'll do you what you the
but that's okay. Verse 34, and he called the name of that place.
The funny thing about it, the brother thought he was on to something. That is crazy.
Kibrath Hatava, because they had buried the people that lusted. So there was a mixed multitude that was still being regarded as separate from the Israelites, and they fell lusting, and then they buried them because they died. So the mixed multitude didn't even make it out of the wilderness with them. So they were there, they came out of Egypt, they didn't even make it through the journey, they died in the wilderness. So if I can only land.
He said that's not true, and brother read it out of the precept. How can you say it's not true? How can you say it's not true when he just read it? That don't make sense, man. How he read it out the book of the Lord, and then you say that's not true with the face tunnel. That don't make no sense, man. Hey, people are crazy nowadays. But hey, that's what you expect, man. You know, I blame the Esau, man. I blame Esau, man. Esau got people not straying from the Bible now, right? You know, so that's madness. Brother said he proved it and literally went on and said, shook his head no.
In my plan, it would be amazing if I only met. So clear, I just showed that the mixed multitude was still regarded as different, separate from the Israelites, debunking his point, and then they died. They didn't even make it through, so they're irrelevant in 2025. Thank you.
Okay, now I'm gonna make a point.
Sure,
this is a scripture that these guys always use. They try to trick people, and I don't know why you gotta lie, right, to make a point. The mixed multitude was a specific people within the group. These people were not all the people who came out of Egypt with the Israelites. It was a few people. That? It was a few people, and there were also Israelites.
Prove it.
What are you talking about?
You're talking.
I could
prove it right there. Go ahead.
I could
prove it.
Do you want me to read you this?
There you go. Prove it to me where the mixed multitude was only a small. That it wasn't all mixed people. It was only a little bit of people.
Even then, if the mixed multitude, right? Hey, it wasn't. I should say, it wasn't. What is he trying to say? What he trying to say? Like, it wasn't just, it was a lot of different people, right? Even then, we know based on the precepts, only 2 people, Caleb, Joshua, and everybody under 20, I believe 20 made it into the kingdom. All the other that older generation died off. They didn't make it. Neither did Moses, neither did Aaron make it to the kingdom. So all that is irrelevant. It's irrelevant, man. According to the biblical narrative, biblical timeline, it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant as hell.
people.
Yes,
there were certain
the mixed
people, within
people.
that, but everybody within the mixed multitude didn't get put to death. There were people who
Prove
were
it.
faithful.
I
Bro,
just read it.
I just gave you the example
No,
of Caleb.
I'm
I
after
just
that.
gave you the example of Caleb.
First off, Caleb being a Kenizzite.
The Kenizzites joined the Israelites in the wilderness.
No, that's not true.
Oh,
so the
okay.
Kenizzites.
So how did Caleb's father get into
hold
the
on,
camp
number
of
one.
Israel?
No, the Kenizzites that you're trying to. This is
bro.
what people try to do. They try to superimpose the Canaanites that are in Genesis 19 on Caleb when the Hebrew words are totally different. So
Caleb wasn't a Kenizzite.
no. It's two different Hebrew words.
Okay.
But again, I just need you to show me where the mixed multitude. Show it to me. There you go. You got it. You got it. Show it. You're doing a lot of talking. Show and prove.
I'm gonna show
and prove.
Okay, I'll show you this. I'll show you this.
I already gave you the point after that point. So go ahead.
I wrote this right here. We can go to the book of Esther right now.
No, why are you jumping?
Bro, because you're
why are you jumping?
Because what you're doing.
Why can't you prove anything I challenge you on directly? You can't.
He can't even prove what he's saying, man. You damn Pan-African can't prove nothing. Literally, the Lord said this. Literally, the Lord said do this. This is madness, man. The Lord said, this is 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 21. Prove all things. Hold fast that which is good. The Lord said, prove all things, man. You're saying what you're saying, prove it. Hey, the brother threw the Bible over there, and the brother still didn't want to open the Bible to prove what he's saying. That means the brother's a liar, and there's no truth in it, right? That's plain. You know, he didn't want to prove it at all. Is he a liar? He's lying. That shows you right there. He's just lying. You know, he's just lying and don't know what he's talking about. When the precept literally said that the mixed multitude died, they didn't even make it. And then even then, that all that older generation died in the wilderness, and then Caleb and Joshua, and then everybody under 28 made it to the kingdom. So you got something with that, man. And the Lord said, prove all things, man. You don't want to prove it. You want to jump point to point to point to point, and can't prove your first point at all. You know, can't prove nothing. You know, it's plain.
Deal with anything I've challenged you on directly. You have had to display the inability to deal with.
This is all they got. They lost this argument 100 times already. I could just ramble too and just tell you all the points and let it be done there.
Notice when I'm referencing, I'm
You're
reading
not
it.
referencing
I'm showing
anything.
it. I haven't referenced anything.
What this guy is doing.
You got to bring me somebody better next time, bro.
You got what this guy is doing is he's playing on the fact that most people are not Bible readers. So he knows if he throws an assertion out there, he knows nobody will be able to say, oh, here's the scripture that disproves this. But what I'm telling you is, when you read the Bible, all you got to do is keep on reading, and you understand that everything this guy's telling you is a total lie. If you read even what Jesus taught, you would know that these guys are making up lies. These are the guys who Jesus was arguing with every day. People who sit up and try to beat people down with the Mosaic law when they're really supposed to be showing people mercy and teaching people and educating them. But because this is a cult that is built on...
Have you seen me beat somebody up with the Mosaic law before?
That's all y'all do. I watched you on the internet. That's all you do.
Okay, when did I do that?
That's all Hebrew Israelites do.
Hold on, when did I do that?
Bro,
when did you see me do that?
Listen, you're not just you anymore. You're a Hebrew Israelite. That means you're a part of a big group.
Oh, okay. Hey, I see.
Flacco, when you see Hebrew Israelites, what they known for doing?
I can't react because the fans are going to vote on who wins.
That's right. Okay, well, here's the whole thing. Everyone knows Hebrew Israelites. They know what Hebrew Israelites are known for. Standing on the corner, punching down on people. Oh, you an Edomite. You it is. You would add all this other stuff. This guy...
We already proved what's the reason why, right? We don't have to go back and circle back around and prove why we on the highways of violence. You know,
has to tell you that, oh, the lineage is passed through the father because probably he got a white mama or something like that, which would disqualify him from even being an Israelite. And I would bet you if we go in your family tree, you got some white in there. I bet somebody in your direct lineage, your parent, one of them is white. If it's your mom, you're not even an Israelite.
Wait.
That's crazy.
No, that's not crazy. Because the lineage is passed through the mother.
See, but no, show me in the Bible where the lineage is passed through the mother.
I'm going to show you on Google.
No, but the Bible's right.
You want to show you on Google and not the Bible, because you can't prove that, man. Folly, man. This dude is folly. Brother said, "I'm gonna prove it on Google when the Bible is sitting right there in your face." sitting right there, open. He was finna go to another precept. I don't know what he was going, trying to go somewhere else, but then can't prove that it's from the mother. You want to go to Google?
I'm gonna show you something in the Bible.
I'm gonna show you in the Bible why you're wrong. Come on,
does being white, okay, like, does having a white mom disqualify you from the lineage?
Of course, especially when you say you can only be an Israelite if you're black, which is also not true.
Who said you can only be an Israelite if you're black? Who said that? That's not our point. Again,
listen, man.
Straw man king.
Listen,
that's
man.
all.
I'm not a straw man king.
Yes, you are. That's all you've done.
I'm not a straw man king at all. Bro, the whole point, you're arguing this point because you don't want to argue the overarching point where you believe that you got to be black to be saved by God.
I don't believe you have to be black to be saved by God. That's a lie. Is he black? Is he black?
You're not even black.
Hold on. Is he black?
You're not even black.
Okay, fine, but is he black?
Okay, are you a Hebrew?
Yeah. Is he black?
No, not that I can see.
Okay, so now how can I believe you have to be black to be saved by God if I have somebody who's not black?
Let me answer that. Because you guys, when you ran up on your recruitment and you realized, damn, black people aren't really gravitating towards it, they opened it up to where it included all these other races, Indians, Mexicans.
You know what's so
that brother funny. He's funny for that one. That was a big bully strong man. We don't believe that you got to be black to be a Israelite. We believe the so-called blacks, Hispanics, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, the Israelites, according to the Bible, based on prophecy, based on archaeology, based on what the precepts say. Deuteronomy chapter 28, a list, a plethora of curses that the Israelites will go through. The so-called Native Americans went through the same thing we went through. So-called Hispanic people went through the same people we went through. So that's always been the strong man point. Yeah, you got some Israelite Negro only, but we don't believe that. We believe that according to the Bible, history, archaeology, and prophecy, that the Israelites are so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. That's plain. That's like the core teaching, right? Core teaching that we believe.
So crazy about this?
No, Brandon, calm down. From Israel and the Levant, half the world away.
Brandon, turn it down, right?
I'm turning down.
So number one, the majority of the Hebrew Israelite movement is black, right? And the Hebrew Israelite movement,
the majority,
yes.
But just like the Nation of Islam, if I could just opened it up to recruit different races.
If I could just.
And another point of being black, it's a lot of black so-called races in the world, right? It's a lot of people that's so-called black in the world, right? You got so many, man, but we don't claim them as Israelites. Some African nations are not Israelites. You got Indian people, you got Arab people. They be dark skinned like us, right? But that don't mean that they are Israelites because their skin is black, right? Nobody never says that because what they say, not all skin folk is kin folk. Just because you look dark, that don't mean you dark skinned. We don't believe that Egyptians are Israelites because they black. The original Egyptians are black. We don't believe none of that, right? We don't believe all African nations in different tribes of Africa and they are Israelites. We don't believe that, right? So not because you're black, you're Israelite. That don't make sense.
Talk, it would be amazing. The Nation of Islam at the onset said there was 8 different shades of brown and 8 different shades of yellow. So they automatically, from the onset, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Now they recruiting Asians and everything else.
Hold on, bro. If I could just talk, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad from the gate always included them, right? Number one. Number two, recruitment. The Hebrew Israelite movement is gigantic in Africa. It's gigantic all over the place. There's nobody hard up for recruitment.
Gigantic in Africa. I've been in Africa all the time. It's little small groups.
Listen. You can
gigantic.
Listen, you can say whatever you want
you also can, whether it's true or not.
By whatever standard you want.
Okay.
Nobody's hard up on recruitment. The whole this has always been the teaching of certain sects of Israelites. That's what some people believe certain things, some people believe other things. It just is what it is.
No, it's
so
not.
that's ridiculous and baseless. And all of this has been done to do as a if I could just talk.
You've been talking.
If I could just talk.
Oh my God.
All of this is doing, you're trying to distract and divert because every time I directly challenge you, you can't prove the point.
You're
not one time.
Me.
Right.
You're not challenging me.
I want you to understand it's in 4K.
It's okay.
Everybody saw it. Everybody sees the ass that you're making of yourself, bro.
And it's
Everybody.
Okay that it's in 4K.
Everybody
it's okay
sees
that it's in 4K.
Everybody.
It's okay that it's in 4K. You are good at filibustering and over talking me. That's fine. But if you really break down what's going on in the Bible, you first. I see in other videos he says you can only be a Hebrew Israelite if you're black. Now today he did.
How can I say that if from the onset
you were
from
in the
onset
Fugazi podcast saying you could only be an Israelite if you're black?
No,
we can pull that up.
No, so number one.
This dude is moving the goalposts. That's all these.
He's a liar. He's a liar. He's a liar. No. I have to respond to that.
Now we're going to debunk the Bible. But this is how it works, right? The same thing that they...
The earth. There is no racial classification that gives a monopoly on the Israelites. The Israelites are the people that descend from the man Jacob. They can look like or be classified as any technical race, and we identify the people generally through prophetic and historical evidence. Plain and simple.
All right. So the whole thing is this. Not only did the guy say that you could only be Hebrew Israelite if you was black.
Prove it.
Black. So they can go to No Fugazi. They go to No Fugazi and look at that. Also, he said he was a prophet, but was unable to give us an example of any prophecies that he made. Him and Captain Tazariak. Then he's talking about the Mosaic Law. The whole premise of this whole thing is this, Flacco, and this is really like where they always run into a wall that they can't get past, so they got to try to play the semantics game. The Mosaic Law was done away with, right? It was when Jesus came, he gave people a more perfect law. Right. You can go look at Galatians, the 3rd chapter, go in verse 10. It talks about anyone who's trying to operate based on the law is cursed, right? Because if you break one statute of the law, it's like you broke them all, right?
The law is done away with. The law is done away with. That's folly. And Christ fulfilled it. It's done, man. We do this all the time. We know what the Most High fulfilled. Or as you should say, we know what Christ has fulfilled. So like it, Most High, it's not Christ. We know what Christ fulfilled. Christ fulfilled the things that was written in the law. Right? That's plain. He didn't fulfill the law. How can you fulfill it? It doesn't make sense, man. It's just dumb speaking. Just dumb. Right? He didn't fulfill the law. But then on the same token, saying you got to keep the law. Since people just don't understand the Bible, man. Just don't understand the Bible. Yeah, just don't understand. Right. Let me get those real quick. Because the way quoting is Matthew. All right. Look at this one. That's what you quoting, right? All right, that's what you quoting. Yeah, Matthew chapter 5 and verse. He's going quoting this 5:17. Think not I come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. But he said it in the precept. He said, think not I come to destroy the law. So he not come to destroy the law. Okay. He said, I'm not coming to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. So you can't say he come to destroy the law or he done away with the law when he literally said he's not coming to destroy the law. Right? But this is what he came to do. Why it says that. All right. All right. This is Acts chapter 3 in verse 18. It says, but those things which God before has showed by the mouth of his prophets that Christ should suffer, he has so fulfilled. So he fulfilled the things that what the prophets has spoke about him. Right? So you can't say that he done away with the law, because that's not a biblical narrative, right? Because that don't even go with the precepts, man. Literally, how can you fulfill it? He literally said, I come not to destroy the law.
Who wrote the book of Galatians?
Wait, see, now we're gonna say the Bible. Now we're gonna debunk the Bible. But this is how.
But so Lord willing, that was edifying. That was it's a real long video through the Spirit. Got an hour, then there 2 hours in this thing with the precepts. But that's just showing you, these people don't know what the hell they talking about. They just say whatever they feel and however they feel, and thinking they right? But we know based off the precepts and what the Most High had laid in front of us, that only the Most High is true, and every man is a liar, right? So, the mighty brother, he did a beautiful job in breaking this down, really dismantling everything that the brother had put in front of us, put in front of him through the Spirit. So, with that, I want to go out and glory to the Most High. How keep pushing in this truth, and keep studying to show thyself approved, and don't let none of these wicked spirits come and try to seduce you out of this truth. Because there's going to be a lot of people talking nonsense, but what we got to do is defend the doctrine with all our heart, right? It's squeaky clean, man. Hit our page on Instagram, right? W5 Bay Area. If you want to come and talk to us, come talk. We could talk all day. But with that, Kwame Shalom.